My name is David Fleming from Disciples Ignited, a ministry that's focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now, in this series, we've been studying a godly life. In other words, what we need to do to live like Jesus. How did Jesus live a godly life? Well, let's look at some of the ways. Jesus offered undeserved forgiveness to everyone, even when he was on the cross. Remember what he said in Luke chapter 23, verse 34? Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Are we willing to do the same? When people don't know how bad they're treating us and they don't even ask for forgiveness, that we forgive them anyway? That, my friend, is godliness, just like Jesus. Jesus also had hope when everything looked hopeless. Now remember, there were two thieves that were crucified alongside Jesus, and one of them said, Lord, remember me when you enter into your kingdom. Well, in Luke chapter 23, verse 43, Jesus said, truly I tell you today, listen to this, today you will be with me in paradise. So even though circumstances really looked bleak, Jesus had great hope. His hope had not been diminished, not one iota by the circumstances. Can we stand strong in hope when circumstances give us no reason to, but God has? Well, that's Jesus for you. And we can live a godly life just like him. That's why he's given us his Spirit to do so. Jesus revealed on the cross total selflessness. In John chapter 19, verses 26 and 27, Jesus called his mother up to the cross, and he called John up to the cross, and he said, woman, here is your son. And to the disciple John, he said, here is your mother. He just wanted to make sure that his mother was going to be well taken care of. And so he had trusted her into the care of John, the disciple that he loved so much. Now, Mary and Joseph had other children after Jesus, and so there were sons there that legally should have taken care of Mary, but Jesus wanted to make sure that his mother was taken care of by a believer. That is such love. And Jesus did all this on the cross. Jesus also trusted God right after he said, Father, why have you forsaken me? Now, how many of us have sometimes doubted God when things weren't going so well? Well, things certainly were not going well for Jesus circumstantially. He said, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? See, all the sins of mankind had been dumped on Jesus, and so God could no longer be united to his son, and so he separated from him. He turned away from Jesus. But right after this, Jesus said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Y'all, that is such trust. That is such faith. And that is the example that Jesus has given us. That is godly living in the direst of circumstances. And Jesus fulfilled his destiny up to the end. On the cross, Jesus said, I am thirsty. Did you realize that that was a fulfillment of an Old Testament messianic prophecy? We read about it in Psalm 69, verse 21. They put gall in my food and gave me vinegar for my thirst. And so later on, Jesus on the cross, this is what it says in the Word, John chapter 19, verse 28. Later, knowing that everything had now been finished, and so that Scripture would be fulfilled, Jesus said, I am thirsty. Jesus fulfilled his destiny. Every iota, every messianic prophecy had been given in the Old Testament. Jesus fulfilled it. Now it's been written about us in the Psalms. All our days are written about in his book before one of them came to be. But Jesus is the only one that it can truly be said has fulfilled his destiny completely. What an example Jesus is to us. One who in difficulty beyond our understanding, fulfilled his destiny. And then this is one of my favorites. Jesus had to do all that he did on the cross by faith. He certainly didn't do it by his feelings. He certainly didn't do it based on circumstances. He did it all by faith. John chapter 19, verse 30 says, when he had received the drink, Jesus said, "It is finished." With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. It's not by feelings or anything that Jesus saw that encouraged him to finish his mission. He did it all by faith. And that, my friend, is how we must live for Jesus. Not by our feelings, not by what we see, not by how we feel, not by how circumstances are going, but it's all by faith in Jesus. Oh, but there's so much more to learn about godly living, so join me again tomorrow and we'll study some more. See you then.